if I was running research at a university, I'd be interested in researching how do we help the victims of child abuse, sexual abuse recover. That might be a more interesting, not let's change the name of child abusers and pedophiles and try and make them more acceptable to society. How did this possibly get past the university's ethics committee? And let's find out who's on the ethics committee. If you're at Victoria University, I'd really love you to text me in, or after we've done our next interview, to ring in and tell me what you think about learning at an institution that does stuff like this and then runs away and buries its head in the stand. And you must be aware of this, Nick Smith, Vice-Chancellor. I know you've got emails from people, so could you please get in contact and explain yourself to the public of New Zealand and, I guess, to the survivors of child sex abuse? Well, joining us now is a man who has spent much of his life advocating for and fighting the corner for men who were sexually abused as children. And he has done much good work, and I would consider him someone who I give, and he'll be embarrassed by it, high status to for fighting this good fight. His name's Ken Clearwater, and he joins us on the line now. Ken, good morning to you. Thank you very much for coming on the platform.
Good morning, Sean. More than welcome. Thank you.
Ken, just give us some background of your experience and your work with people who have been abused as children.
It's the grooming that concerns us more than anything at all, Sean. Most children, as we know, are abused by someone they know, whether it's within their family, whether it's a priest, whether it's a school teacher, and those sorts of things. And as a young person, you rely on someone older than you to lead you the way in life. And if that involves sexual stuff and things like that, your little mind doesn't understand what's going on. So we look up to these people to lead us. And when it comes to sexual violation, it's probably one of the, next to murder, it's probably one of the worst things that can happen to a child.
How many years of your life have you been involved in helping the victims of this stuff, Ken?
I suppose basically since 1965, when I was abused myself, and I spent probably 30 years trying to work out who I was, what was going on, what was my sexuality, why did it happen to me, and things like that. And then it was about 94, I found a male survivor group here in Christchurch, which was the one of the first peer support groups in the world for male victims of sexual abuse, and started to understand that what happened to me, there were thousands of boys just like me.
What do you think, and I take it you've had a chance to have a look at some of the stuff online, of the research, supposedly, I use inverted commas, that Victoria University is doing, and their survey which aims to test the efficacy of educational modules in reducing stigma towards people, and they don't use the word pedophiles or abusers, they say people who are sexually attracted to minors. What do you think of that survey?
It concerns me. I mean, we've got to look at what's the idea behind it. And look, it is a huge concern of why people want to sexually violate children, and we need to try and understand that. But, it's just strange to think that a university's looking into this way of doing things.
Well, it seems to be suggesting, Ken, doesn't it, that we should somehow normalise the idea of being sexually attracted to children. And certainly I've talked to people who have taken part in the survey, and they say that's what it's aiming to do to them.
Yeah, I know, and it's pretty weird in itself to think along those lines. It must be horrible for those who are attracted to children. We know that it's that it's against the law, that it's illegal, and it's damaging. So we certainly need to have things in place to help those people that do that. But it just worries me the way they're going around this survey.
Yeah, and the stuff I've seen around, and this survey doesn't appear to be original. Massey University did one a few years ago, and I'm still trying to get a line on it, an outfit in Auckland. Apparently it's part of a kind of coordinated research push by certain people. Ken, their argument is that, if we can destigmatise the good pedophiles before they actually do anything to a child, we've got more chance of helping them and stopping them being child abusers. Do you think there's a rationale?
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a good pedophile. I mean, that's like saying he's a good murderer. It's crazy to even think that someone would, would use that.
But if you
that
haven't
idea.
actually physically abused or sexually abused a kid yourself, what's our worry, Ken?
Yeah, well, exactly, and it's about looking at what systems have we got in place as it is, like legally and in the system.
Yeah.
If you have a look at our justice system, there's actually there's not a lot of protection in there for children as it is. And then if all of a sudden if you come along and you've got a lawyer who says, look, I've got this research here that said this man's a good man, it was just that he likes children, so we're not to sexually violate that child. It just does not make common sense to me
And
at
Ken,
all.
I guess if you're that way inclined, you're probably looking at child porn too, which of course supports an industry maybe overseas or internationally that abuses and damages children.
Well, it's not just overseas; it's in New Zealand as well. We've got, there's child pornography made here in New Zealand, and so we've got to, we've got to understand and accept that it's not just an overseas thing, Sean. That it's also a New Zealand problem. But look, if in reality, if someone has got an attraction to children and they're able to get some help before they do hurt someone, that would be really good. But how would that work? Because we know that if someone's going to commit a crime, they commit that crime. They don't think beforehand, I don't think I should do this, and who should I get help from? So, so it's a pretty strange way of looking at things.
Yeah. Ken, what do you call people who are sexually attracted to minors?
Pedophiles, full stop, and there's no other way to describe it. They're criminals. It's a criminal act, and so that's what we've got to treat it as a criminal act.